na na.
Hey.
Na 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 na. Bye bye Eagles.
Yeah, we lost.
I had to start that shit with the show because you're already pissing me off this morning.
Oh, here
this
we go.
afternoon. What's up, everybody? We are back. Say It Out Loud Sports. It's been a month. Over a month. But we are back. Playoffs are in full swing. We were going to have an episode last week, but we
have some protocol issues over
got some protocol issues, but we are back. Me and Bob are here. Pete is out today. He should be back next week for the championship previews, but I mean, thank you to all the listeners who are back with us, and welcome to all the new listeners. Let's get in the playoffs, though.
Let's go.
NFL Wildcard Weekend was pretty, let's be honest.
It was boring, man.
Horrible.
No good matchups.
Outside of what? The Raiders-Bengals ending. It got a little that got fun.
Yeah, but I mean, the most of the game was just
that's what I'm saying.
It just looked like the Raiders weren't going to do anything.
Yeah, that was
like the Eagle game, man.
That was Raiders kept staying in it. I kept thinking it was going to be a blowout. Raiders kept answering.
Yeah,
and they made it interesting down the stretch. And same thing with Dallas, San Francisco. It was boring for 3.5
quarters. Dallas didn't look good at all.
The rest was pretty bad football across the board.
Yeah, Eagles sucked. I mean, the Bucs just came to play.
So
everybody expected that. Though.
Well, let's pull a couple takeaways from each game. Though let's start with Bengals and Raiders. We already said the Bengals look good. The Raiders answered each time though, which is kind of what I expect from the Bengals defense. I don't buy the Bengals defense,
right?
But Burrow and one question mark coming into the game for me, I had the Raiders +6 and they lost by 7.
Yeah,
but one of the reasons I took the Raiders was Burrow's health. He got hurt. He got hurt
at the last play of
week 17.
Last play.
Yeah, week 17. They sat him week 18.
Yeah, he had a bye.
And it turned out he was healthy.
He was fine.
So it kind of bit me. I was hoping I'm not hoping
he's a real
was
deal.
Beat up, but I was hoping, maybe he wasn't Joe Burrow, and he showed up.
Yeah, he's a real deal.
So what's your takeaways from these two teams? Or from that game?
My take is Joe Burrow's a real deal. He does. There's no pressure ever. There's not a situation where he feels ever shaky about anything. Like this, to me, it was kind of a must-win for the Bengals. Because they lose this game, everybody's going to be like, oh, well, maybe Joe Burrow the playoff drought's going to continue.
Yeah.
But he goes out and he wins the game. And the Raiders, a lot of people were on Raiders.
Yeah, the line moved down to 5.5 and back to 6. I don't know what the deal was, but for the Raiders, what do you do? I think that coach has to stay, no?
I think he stays. He's done a great job with how it's gone down the last 6 weeks with Henry Ruggs and Damon Arnett and just a ton.
Waller's been out.
Yeah, he comes back, and Waller played all right. I think it comes down to one thing. I don't think Derek Carr's the guy for Oakland or for Las Vegas. I think they got to move on.
Just to get a new quarterback because he played bad.
I think he'll have more of like a Ryan Tannehill-esque type
resurgence.
Lead. Yeah, he'll go somewhere. He just needs a change of venue.
Yeah,
just a different program, and I think the Raiders will end up moving on. I don't think it's 100% solely on Derek Carr, but I think the experiment's over.
I don't think it's an experiment. Carr's a good quarterback. But I kind of agree. I think the change of scenery would do him well, and then they got to get, especially if they can go out and get like a Deshaun Watson, because
that's where the market's going to be flooded.
Russell Wilson.
I think draft day. I think the Texans who are going to be. There's teams lined up that have the draft picks to move up and get Deshaun Watson from Houston.
Don't say Philly.
I don't want Philly to move on from Hurts.
We'll get to that because that's going to come up.
I know, but I don't think we should.
But Raiders. I think that coach got to stay. Bisaccia.
I think he did a great job.
I can't even say it. Bisaccia, whatever his name is. They're already trying to interview other coaches. I think he did such a good job. You got to sign.
I wouldn't even
the players love him.
Talk to other coaches. I would have just gave him the job.
All right, Bengals. Yeah, Joe Burrow is healthy and
they're tough to beat.
They're playing the Titans, which we'll get to after we talk about.
Seems to be unstoppable.
Yeah. All right, Pats and Bills. I mean, that was a bloodbath.
What happened to the Patriots defense? The Bills didn't punt. They scored on every single possession.
I love it.
It was wild.
I love it. Mac Jones.
Perfect.
Yeah, obviously the Patriots defense did not show up, but Mac Jones did not play well. The Mac Jones thing, he started the season 1-3, finished the season 1-3, and then gets waxed in the playoff game. I saw the craziest thing from Colin Cowherd. I saw a little clip. He said,
"Is he all in on Mac Jones?"
Do the Patriots trade Mac Jones?
I don't know how you get anything.
Yeah, I don't either. But
you're gonna get a third rounder for him?
I thought about that, and it's like his ceiling. What's his ceiling? It's not Josh Allen. It's not Patrick Mahomes. No. It's not all these quarterbacks in the AFC that are just slinging the ball.
Those are franchise guys that are never leaving.
The only chance they have to win is to play defense and win games. But if you can't score enough to keep up with Josh Allen and Mahomes the next 5-10 years, like what are you doing? You're not. Yeah. If you're mediocre, you're not winning.
Yeah, and if your defense isn't forcing a single punt in 4 quarters, and you probably need to do something there too.
So we'll see about the Patriots. I love it. I absolutely love it. I hope they fall off.
Ticket.
Yeah, that ticket's gone. Bills, though, I mean, the Bills look great.
Dude, they looked perfect.
Super Bowl threat, right?
Contender
they have to
right
be
now
in there.
In the AFC?
They could beat the Chiefs this weekend, which we'll get to.
The Chiefs are lucky they didn't play them in the opening round.
I mean, the Chiefs also put up 42, but that was, Pitt. It's good. That's going to be a game to watch. But, all right, Eagles, my favorite moment of the day probably to let you rant about your Philadelphia Eagles.
Hurts didn't show up.
Against the Bucs. Hurts played bad.
He missed throws, but I didn't like the play calling either. We ran the football the last 10 weeks, and we're unstoppable. And we come out, and he's trying to throw it downfield every other second down. I'm like, dude, run the ball.
Well, there were so many things wrong with the Eagles' play. Devontae Smith was not targeted until like the third quarter.
The last play of the first half.
Something like that. It was nuts. I was like, he has to get the ball in his hand somehow. I don't care if you have to run.
The pass rush was all over, too, on Hurts, too. The O-line didn't play good.
Well, yeah, and the run defense the Bucs is elite. Like, you can't.
It's tough. It was a tough matchup. The one team I told you I didn't want to play. But
the play calling was bad, but the thing was Hurts played so bad. People are like, is it time to move off him? He played terrible. Even his throws. You can't blame the play calling only.
No,
because his throws were terrible. Like he was late on a lot of throws.
Behind on everything.
Late on everything. Behind, high, low, nothing accurate.
Throwing into traffic.
He threw at Goddard. I think had 12 or 15 targets. Who knows? The rest, Devontae Smith had 1.
Yeah. Not good.
So you say you don't want Deshaun Watson.
I don't want to move on from Hurts and give up. Because right now I think we have 15, 16, and 19 in the draft.
Yeah, I just read that.
Is that the 3 we have?
Or 14,
15, and 19, something like that.
3 in the teens.
Yeah. And I think in order to get Watson, we'd have to give up all 3.
And Hurts probably.
And I don't think that's worth it.
No, I think it's crazy. I think Hurts.
I think Watson's value has to have declined, not having played a snap of football in almost 18 months.
He's special. I wouldn't give up Hurts in those 3 picks. I wouldn't even give up. I wouldn't
give up the 3 first.
No. With Hurts, though, I mean, look around the league. We just talked about Mac Jones, first playoff game, shit the bed. Kyler Murray, which we'll talk about in a minute, shit the bed. Jalen Hurts shit the bed.
Season overall, Hurts
Joe Burrow's the only one that first playoff game quarterback that played well.
Couldn't even tell he's in the playoffs. Dude, looked like week 10 to him.
So, I mean, even Matt Stafford.
I think overall season-wise, talking about Jalen Hurts overall season-wise, I think he's a good quarterback. I think he showed that.
Yeah, continue to build.
And just we have to do something about the O-line because they don't stay healthy. Lane Johnson misses 5-6 games a year.
Yeah.
You got to do something.
And then how about the Bucs, though? Their defense looked like that Super Bowl defense.
Oh, man, dude. They're all
back.
The ball.
The secondary's back. Shaq Barrett's back.
Over the football. It was crazy.
White's flying around the field again. I mean, as soon as Sanders or any running back got the ball,
it was.
What's the
Vontae David?
No, who was the safety? Whitehead was all over the field.
Everywhere.
He was 6 yards in the backfield, breaking up passes. So
the Bucs are going to be. They got to be the favorite in the NFC right now, right?
No.
Who is? But Packers?
Probably Packers right now. All 4 games this weekend are going to be legit.
It's going to be wild.
So we'll get the Bucs defense is the key though. Their offense, good. Brady obviously is Brady.
The Eagles played bad, but I think they played bad because the defense in Tampa played so well.
It's hard to tell. The defense played well, but it's hard to tell because Jalen Hurts could not hit a throw to save his life. So
no, he missed a lot.
We'll see. San Francisco, Dallas, that probably the most entertaining game. I loved it for 3 quarters. Dude, it was boring for 3 quarters. Then they almost blew it. I feel like this is a trend in San Francisco, which I can't stand. They start fast.
Is it Jimmy G or is it play calling that's blowing these games?
Well, they're so good at
taking their foot off the grass.
The first 15, 20 plays of the game is
kind of scripted. And they know what they're going to do.
Scripted. They looked phenomenal. First quarter 10-0.
Then the play calling kind of goes.
Then I think they do take the foot off the gas a little bit. Obviously, the Garoppolo pick didn't help in the third quarter, end of the third, towards the end of the third.
The run game for San Fran was fine. They ran all over Dallas. I think they ran for 170.
Yeah, Kittle's been kind of I can't say he's been disappearing because he's probably laying out some people in his blocking because he's excellent. He's
probably the most yards per game on the season.
He's the best
tight ends.
blocking tight end easily.
Oh, easily, yeah.
And they use him to block for the run game, and if they don't need him in the pass game, he just continues to block. But I think they're gonna need him in Green Bay.
Garoppolo can throw the football. We all know that.
Yeah, Wild. I don't know. They always start strong, finish weak, and they can't do that against Green Bay, or that'll be a repeat of Week 3. Dallas, on the other hand,
what were they?
I think people are overreacting a bit. I know they have a ton of free agents. I think
quarterback draw was a terrible play call.
Yeah, that play call was awful. But San Francisco is better than people think.
I think
this is the team I expected when I picked them to go to the NFC title game.
This Jimmy G ran football team.
They started 2-5. They've won 7 out of the last 9. They run the ball. They're playing defense. That's what the recipe is. And now Debo's playing out of the backfield, and he's getting 10 yards.
Is he the best football player on offense in the NFL?
He might be.
Him
or Derrick Henry.
Or, dude, people
think I'm
crazy.
The most versatile.
This guy had the biggest resurgence in NFL history is Cordell Patterson.
Well, he
had like 10 total touchdowns in his career. He had like 14 this year.
Yeah, he's similar to that. I think Debo's probably
Debo's better, but both those guys are phenomenal. They play any position. I feel like they can play defense if they wanted to.
Yeah. I think people are overreacted Dallas. Obviously, I think Dallas is a good football team. I know you hate Dallas.
I hate Dallas.
They're good.
I don't think they're good enough.
They need to get rid of the coaches, period, point blank. I don't think Kellen Moore, they loved Kellen Moore. Well, I could call plays for Dallas.
Yeah,
they have CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Zeke, Pollard.
The problem wasn't
Pollard didn't even touch the ball. He's probably better than Zeke at this point right now. He's faster than Zeke. That's 100%
I would see
fact.
this is if I'm going forward. If I'm Dallas, I'm going forward. You have to move on from Zeke and save that $28 million a year.
Zeke and Cooper gone. Gallup's a free agent.
I think Amari would stay.
Cooper's owed a lot. They're in some.
If they cut him by June 1st, they save $20 million.
Yeah, they need to make some moves. Receivers
you have to move on from Zeke, right? With you have Pollard.
Yeah, receivers are a dime a dozen. You can find receivers.
Yeah, running backs are, if you're not like a top 4 or 5, they're a dime a dozen too.
Yeah,
and that's why.
And I think Pollard
Zeke is you got to just move on and save that money
if they can. Yeah, if they can save money,
build around Michael Parsons on defense, man.
Oh, that defense is going to be good. Still,
I would draft another linebacker, just like Micah.
If they keep Mike McCarthy, we're going to have the same conversation next year.
Oh, they're going to lose they're going to lose Dan Quinn. He's going to get a head coaching job.
There's no discipline. They had 14, 15 penalties. That's why they lost. San Francisco didn't even play good outside of the first quarter. They got lucky to escape that because of Dallas beat themselves.
And what's on defense, they beat themselves. They gave up 170 rushing yards. They had 10, I think, penalties on defense. 5 of them were for first downs.
And I don't want to hear all these Dallas fans, the refs. No.
You had 3.5 quarters to do anything, and you did nothing. You can't win a football game in half a quarter.
The refs had to call those. Did you see him?
Yeah, they're blatant.
He was tackling the guy. He was bear hugging the guy. Had nothing to do with the play.
Hold.
And he pulled him down. That's a penalty. You can't even be like, oh,
You're not going to get away with that.
Exactly. There wasn't even like questionable call. It wasn't no PI call that was like, oh, he didn't. That was not PI. That was holding. You tackled the man.
Yeah.
And it kept extending the drive. So I'm happy the way San Francisco played. I'm happy they won. I don't think they played nearly what they are capable of.
They have to play better to beat Green Bay this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be wild.
I think they do. I think they play better. I don't know if they win, but it's going to be a good game.
Pittsburgh and Kansas City, we don't have to spend too much time on Pittsburgh, obviously.
This went the way everybody in America thought it was going to go.
It started off a little hairy, huh? TJ Watt gets a defensive touchdown. I was like, what's going on right now?
Did you see the video on Barstool of the guy? He bet.
Yeah, Jersey Jerry?
Yeah, he thought he bet TJ Watt for the first score.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It was plus 12,500 on his bet. He bet $25 or something.
So 125 to 1.
Yeah, he bets like $25, and he thought it was TJ Watt as a first score.
It was Derek Watt?
Yeah.
The fullback?
He was celebrating. It's showing everybody his phone, his ticket.
Oh,
and everybody's like, dude, that's the greatest bet I've ever seen. And his buddy looks down, and he's like, I think that's Derek Watt, bro. And he goes, no. And like 5 minutes later, they graded it, and it was a loss.
Man, that's brutal.
Oh, dude, it went from like 12,500 to zero. Yeah, it was wild.
That's bad. But yeah, obviously, we're not going to get into Pittsburgh for next year. Obviously, Big Ben's done, right?
This is to me. We were talking about Deshaun Watson. This is where he's got to go.
That'd be
If Deshaun Watson wants to win games, it doesn't matter who's there in Pittsburgh. They haven't had a losing season in 18 years.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mike Tomlin's never had one.
If they replace Roethlisberger with Watson,
they're not going to have a losing season. That's a 10 or 12 win team.
They might be top 5 Super Bowl contenders immediately.
Immediately,
Schuster, right?
Claypool probably lead the league in receiving.
No, that's immediate top 5.
You're a top 5
on
football
favorite.
team.
Vegas would have them a top 5 team.
Is Mike Tomlin just? I would be in the office right now, and with Art, and be like, we have to make this move.
Give up the next 4 drafts.
I'd give up the next 5 drafts. Who cares?
Yeah, because you have Claypool, Juju, Freiermuth's young.
Go get Watson. You got Najee Harris the next 4 years on a rookie deal.
Yeah.
That's the best.
That's a no-brainer.
That's the best fit for Deshaun Watson.
Defense is always good.
Mike Tomlin's going to have.
Wild.
Is that not the best fit possible for Deshaun Watson? And he wants to go to the Giants. They said.
That's the dumbest thing. That might be the dumbest place to go.
Why would you want to go there? What do they have going for them? Nothing.
That's weird. That's what he said?
That's what Watson said. He wants to go.
I think talk to them, man.
I think he thinks outside of the game. He thinks big market. Like that's the biggest market in football.
Go to Pittsburgh, win Super Bowls. You're instantly
your market
elevated.
Your market rises.
Yeah. Kansas City expected. They looked great. Tyreek Hill's healthy now, which is scary.
Back to being 45 yards downfield wide open.
The last, 6 weeks of the season, he wasn't really healthy. Byron Pringle's playing great. Obviously, Kelsey's Kelsey.
Josh Gordon is at some point he's going to do something, right?
No. Stop. Josh Gordon?
Yeah,
no. He didn't even
get done.
DeMarcus Robinson's catching him. No. McCole Hardman, those guys are all miles ahead of that guy.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah, he's out. Arizona Rams. That was surprising. The way it went down, I thought the Cardinals could hang around for a while, but the signs were on the wall. The last 6, they ended, 1-4?
I think a lot of people were on Arizona because they were the best road team in the NFL. They were 8-1 on the road.
Yeah. I mean, the writing was on the wall, though. They're 1-4 down the stretch.
Yeah, it was not good.
They had a 2-game lead with 5 to go. They blew the division. Yeah. I just thought, Hopkins obviously was the bigger loss than everybody thought.
It's a huge loss.
Yeah.
And they showed did you see the stats of when he plays and when he doesn't?
Yeah.
The points per game went from 30 to 17.
And they just got blown out early. There was no coming back from that. Not to mention Kyler was
horrendous.
He was worse than Jalen Hurts, and I didn't think anybody would play
Jalen played terrible.
As bad as Hurts.
Kyler
and then
Murray was terrible.
Yeah.
They went out of the end zone, tried to what was he?
Oh, yeah, it's just that's what I'm saying. These rookies, these first and second year guys that a playoff debut, they're feeling the pressure. You asked the question before we got on air just now, and you said, is it time to move off Kyler Murray? That's the dumbest.
I don't know, man.
Stop. You want to keep Jalen Hurts, but you want to move off Kyler Murray? The team was 10-0 or 7-0, and he was in the MVP. He was in the MVP conversation last year, and this year until the end of the season.
I guess losing Hopkins has killed it.
It's huge. That's look at Philly. They started running the ball. That's when they started winning.
Yeah, we were terrible to start. We were 2-5, I think.
Yeah, same with San Francisco.
And since we were 2-5, we had the second best record in football.
That's asinine. You're not moving off Kyler Murray. We can't.
So they move off Cliff Kingsbury?
They could. I won it. That has been rumbling. I don't think has legs. It's the start. What is it?
His third season.
He's 24-24.
He's going into his third year next year.
Next year's 4.
Is it 4?
Because he's played 48. He's 24-24.
Okay, so he drafted Kyler year 1 before he ever coached a game.
I think I read it's 24-24. That's 3 years. This is Kyler's third year.
2 seasons.
This is Kyler's third year.
16 and 17.
Right?
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
Maybe I got to do his research. My bad. I think it's 24-24. Either way, you can't. I don't think you can move off him yet. They had a good year.
One more year. Hot seat next year.
Yeah, hot seat next year. They're in the toughest division. They were. I mean, Seattle fell off this year, but you still have the Rams and the 49ers in it, which is nuts.
Does Bill Belichick come back in New England?
Yeah.
They don't just move.
But yeah, you're not moving off Kyler Murray, and you're not. They could move off Kingsbury. I think it'd be a mistake, but we'll see how it goes. All right. So, but how about the Rams though?
How about Odell Beckham?
So they're in the same situation to me as the Bucs because Arizona played so bad. I don't know. I didn't really get much out of the Rams because
the Rams running backs were all over. Every time they touched the ball, it was like 7-8 yards.
Yeah, Akers looked great.
How is he back on the field after tearing an Achilles 6 months ago?
Yeah, Akers looked great. OBJ got involved, which is smart. They're getting him going.
Dude, he's been good since the trade.
Stafford was throwing dimes, but I don't know how much of it was the Rams
defense
playing great. No, both of them, the whole Rams team was it them just dominating the game, or was Arizona just shit the bed?
Well, I've seen a thing on Twitter today. They were talking about this is the best, like as a head coach, Sean McVay's best game of all time, play calling wise.
He didn't have to do anything.
Well, I mean, he's calling the plays, but
they signed a retired safety. He didn't even have to play. Eric Weddle played like 3 plays.
He came in on the second play of the game. They're like, he's back after 27 months off the field.
Yeah, wait till they put Eric Weddle in the game next week, and Brady is going to be like, is that Eric Weddle?
Every pass is going to go at him.
Yeah.
Gronk's going to go bananas.
Eric Weddle's guarding Gronk next week. So
sorry, Weddle. Eric might want to take the week off.
If that happens, then Brady's throwing it right at him.
Dude, that game's going to be pretty wild.
All right, let's get into the games. All right, before we get into this weekend's games and make our picks, I want to let everyone know that BetUS is the newest sponsor of the Off the Ball Network. Fastest payouts in the industry, and they offer a 125% sign-up bonus when you use promo code OffTheBall. Use all caps on that, Off the Ball. Head over to betus.com and sign up today. Also, Off the Ball, there's no longer an Off the Ball network. It's moved. Well, there is a network. But we moved all the work over to Substack. It's kind of a subscription service in a way. It's offtheballnetwork.substack.com. You can enter your email and address, and every time something's released, it just gets shot right to you. So you don't have to go there.
Is emailed to you?
Yep. So go subscribe over there. A lot of content coming out. We got a daily betting thread. There's, all the NBA stuff. Obviously, we don't cover a ton of NBA right now. We're all NFL, but those guys are they just talk NBA. Not just talk NBA, but those guys go on and on about NBA. So if you love NBA, go over there and get that content. Offtheballnetwork.substack.com. All right, this weekend, divisional games. We'll start in the AFC.
Bengals-Titans.
Saturday. Bengals-Titans spreads. Right now, it's Titans minus 3.5. The total's 46.5. How do you see this game going?
I think Bengals win.
Going Bengals.
Dude, I think Bengals are a better football team than the Titans.
Well, your boy's coming back. You love Derrick Henry.
I know, but
he's not 100%.
He's not.
I think he's coming back.
He's going to come back. I don't mean Cam Akers made it back in 6 months from an Achilles tear. I guess Derrick Henry probably do the same with the torn ACL.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you think? You think it's close?
I think it's a good game. I think it's a good game, but I just think the Bengals are going to. I think the Bengals win the football game. Joe Burrow seems to always find a way to keep it third and short, and Jamar Chase always finds a way to be wide open. I think it helps.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was in this game. Bengals are 0-3 when they allow a 100-yard rusher.
Yeah,
and now they got Derrick Henry coming to town.
Yeah, I think the Titans are like 24-2 when Derrick Henry has 100.
They're 5-2 this year when they get a 100-yard rusher. So I mean, the recipe's there. It kind of makes sense, obviously. If you usually have a lead, you run the clock out. But Derrick Henry usually wears you down. I feel like I look at either he explodes early or
he's like third quarter, he breaks off 65 yards.
Yeah, he's like 20 carries for 65 yards,
and then busts
in
off
the third,
7
and
yards.
then at the end of the game, he has 25 carries for 210 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, what happened?
Just wears you down.
So we'll see. Derrick Henry's on track to play. How effective? We'll see. AJ Brown, they did get Julio back a couple weeks. Last week, week 18, he caught a touchdown. They had a bye, which is big for everybody's health. So I think
if AJ, Julio, and Henry are back, that's a different football team. Those are all back. That's a different football team than we saw the last 6 weeks.
And their defense has been playing excellent as of late. I mean, they went into Frisco, which we just talked about San Francisco, which we'll get to some more. But they went into Frisco and beat them like a month ago with no Julio, no Derrick Henry. The defense is playing really well. If they can force a couple turnovers, Burrow's thrown, I think, 14 picks this year. I think they're going to be successful. I think it's going to be a crazy game. Obviously, Chase, Boyd, Higgins, they cause issues in the secondary. Tennessee they're in the bottom 5 in pass interferences this year. Calls against them.
Malcolm Brown out there just holding?
Yeah, he's just tackling people. But Tennessee's the number 1 in the league in time of possession. That's, even with Henry being out. I think Tannehill's played fine. He's not going to go out and win you games, I don't think. If yes, Julio and AJ, though, he doesn't have to. Just put the ball around, especially AJ Brown. Like that game against Frisco, he had 13 for like 140.
Yeah.
Put it near him, and then Henry back, play action pass is going to work.
Yeah.
I've said all year I don't buy the Bengals defense. I'm not buying it here. I think it's going to be a shootout, and I think Tennessee covers. I think it's going to be like 38-31. I think it's going to be a wild game.
Yeah.
I'll go Tennessee in the over.
I can't pick against Joe Burrow anymore. Although if you look like you talk about like AJ Brown missed a bunch of games, Julio missed a bunch of games, Derrick Henry missed a bunch of games.
No, it's the most injured team in NFL history.
And they still only lost 5 games.
I mean, they do get to play the Jaguars and Texans twice,
yeah,
but
they only lost 5 games though. And all those names missed a ton of games.
Yeah, Vrabel's coach of the year, right?
Gotta be.
Like you could say
fight through.
You could say Belichick, Kingsbury. I had Kingsbury preseason, but they fell off too hard at the end. Maybe. I mean, what else is LaFleur at the Packers? But you got Aaron Rodgers. I think Vrabel, with what he's gone through this year,
I think he's coach of the year.
That or I'll throw in the Raiders coach too. But I think Vrabel wins it.
Yeah, it's not a bad. That's a good.
So I'm going Tennessee in the over. You got Bengals. Are you taking the 3.5? Or you're saying money line?
I think they went outright. I'm taking money line.
All right.
I think Jamar Chase is about to go bananas.
So that's the first game on Saturday. Let's go to AFC on the Sunday slate. You got the Bills and Chiefs. Chiefs are minus 2.5 right now. 54.5 is the total. Bills have won 5 in a row. Kansas City has won 10 out of 11.
Yeah.
The only loss was to the Bengals in that wild game. I mean, the Bills, they lost 2 games mid-December.
This is a must-watch football game.
Oh, yeah. I think all 4 of these are going to be must-watch. But the 2 losses they had mid-December against Tampa and New England, Devin Singletary had 10 touches for 36 yards and 10 touches for 89 yards. No touchdowns in either of those games. They lost.
That's not good.
The last 5 games, listen to his touches, yards, touchdowns. 23, 96, and 1.
Great game.
17, 78, and 1.
Not bad.
23, 110, and 2.
Great.
21, 112, and 2.
Great.
19, 94, and 2. So
he needs 20 carries.
20 touches. I'm counting catches too. But he's had a touchdown in every game. He scored 2 touchdowns in 3 straight games.
So he's got to get 20 touches.
Don't abandon the game. Remember last year when they played the Chiefs in the playoffs? And was it the Chiefs?
Yeah, and they abandoned the run and tried Josh Allen to throw it 47 times.
They got to run the football. They got to get him touches. It opens up. I mean, obviously they got Gabe Davis he's been showing up as late. They got Emmanuel Sanders back, Stephon Diggs, Dawson Knox. They got all the tools.
Cole Beasley.
They got all the tools. They blew out Kansas City 38-20 back in week 5-6.
It is tough to beat a team twice though.
And they beat them in Kansas City. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's going to be a shootout. But the Bills do have the number 1 pass defense in the league.
Yeah.
Mahomes' decision-making is questionable sometimes.
So I think the key is the Bills have to get a pass rush. The Bucs showed that. If Mahomes has to get on the run, it's bad for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think the only way Kansas City could win the game. This is how I see the game going. Kansas City will win if the Bills abandon the run game. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
Or if Kansas City has to get a few sacks on Josh Allen, which is tough to do because he's a running back also.
Yeah, it's like trying to sack.
And the Bills, the only way they lose is if they abandon the run game and they allow Kansas City, which is 31st in the league in sacks, to get pressure on Allen and somehow he throws picks. I think the Bills win this game. I'm going dog outright. And I'm taking the over also in this game. I think the games are going to be wildly entertaining.
This game's going to be over in the Bills. I like Bills too. So we got 2 road teams we're picking. You're taking the Titans.
No, I took the Titans.
Okay,
to cover I think they cover the 3.5. I think they win by 7-10.
The only over/under is 55 in the Bills Chiefs game.
Yeah,
that seems low.
They figure I don't know playoff games, man. Wow. All right, let's switch over to NFC Saturday. My game.
Pat's game.
49ers Packers. Right now it's 5.5, 47.5. First question I have: if whoever loses this game, is the quarterback gone? If Green Bay goes out and the Packers lose, is Rodgers retire? Oh, that's another good one for Pittsburgh. Or go to Pittsburgh? Or is he back in Green Bay next year?
Well, let's be legit here. How many years does Aaron Rodgers play? If he say he stayed in Green Bay his whole career, how many more years does he play? 3, 4?
2, yeah.
4 max.
4 max, yeah. I could see him retiring.
I could see
he's just
if he loses, I'm over it. I'm not going to do another offseason of turmoil with Green Bay and them drafting a wide receiver again. Not drafting a wide receiver again. You know what I mean? I could see him being like, screw that, and just retiring.
Could you see him in another uniform?
No, because he just signed that gigantic contract.
Yeah, but if you're Green Bay and you lose this game, do you not try to get all right, where do you want to go?
They couldn't trade him. He would end up getting released.
You don't think somebody would trade for him?
No. Too much money.
Like Frisco's like, we'll give you Jimmy G and Trey Lance.
And we're going to take on $50 million a year to do it.
Yeah.
I just don't see teams doing that.
Yeah. And then Jimmy, of course. If he loses this game, is San Francisco done with him?
No.
If he loses,
you're the only ones that have been on the Jimmy G train the whole time. This dude went from the most loved guy in San Fran to get him out of San Fran tomorrow. Trey Lance is the guy whose name I haven't heard since week 8, by the way. I don't even think he's on the team anymore. And now he's back to being the most loved quarterback in San Fran.
Well, it's crazy. So last offseason, I wanted to let him go. Not because of him losing the game, because of injuries. If you can't stay healthy, I want a different quarterback that can stay healthy. And I'm not going to bring up Trubisky was my guy. But I mean, coming into this year, I said if Jimmy G can stay healthy, they're going to be in the NFC title game against Green Bay. It's happening a week sooner than I predicted, but it's happening. If he beats Green Bay, imagine this though. So if he loses this week, he's probably gone, I'd imagine.
The San Fran moves on from him?
I think so. I think they might have
Shanahan just says we're going to Trey
Lance. I mean, they kind of drafted him 3rd overall. It's almost like you have to.
You wasted the 3rd overall pick at this point so far.
No, I don't think wasted. Even if he sits for 3 years, Lance needs some. I think he needs time to develop anyway. He reminds me of Kaepernick. He just throws fastballs.
Yeah, and he can't. And it's not accurate at all. Yeah.
So I don't mind him sitting, but I don't know if the Niners. They drafted him for a reason, so I could see them moving on. But no, imagine this though. Say Jimmy wins this game, so he beats. Who do you beat? Dak and America's team beats Dak and the Cowboys.
Okay.
On the road. Then he beats Aaron Rodgers.
On the road.
Then he goes and beats Tom Brady on the road.
In that title game.
And then he goes on and beats Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Now what?
If I'm Jimmy G, I'm not showing up to training camp. I want a new deal. I want an extension, and I want my $50 million a year.
So I'm dreaming right here. But I'm saying if you go on that run, you can't.
Trey Lance might as well pack his bags. He'd never play it down again.
Well, not for San Francisco. Right?
That's what I mean. You pack your bags, buddy.
I'd freak out if they cut him. I might if they got rid of Jimmy after that. I'd be like, I'm not a 49er fan anymore. You're out of here. I'd be like, what are you guys doing?
I think Jimmy G's the guy though. There.
All right. Well, let's get to this game real quick. So the first matchup was Week 3. Yep. And this is kind of what started the early season struggles for the 49ers because they were 2-0 coming into the game.
Right.
They beat the Lions and Eagles, I think, 1-2. And then they had a Green Bay at home. Was it at home? I don't remember if it was at home.
And the Crosby kicked the game winner.
I don't remember if it was at home.
I don't remember
either way.
Home game or not.
But 49ers took the damn lead with 43 seconds left. Packers had no timeouts.
Jimmy G gave him the game.
Somehow they left Devontae Adams running free over the middle 2 plays in a row. And the first one, he got hit in the head, and he had to go in the medical tent. You remember this?
Yeah, he came back out.
And they called 2 plays later out of the medical tent. Then they leave him open again, and Crosby, we all know how that ended.
Yeah, Crosby threw their
Niners lose 4 out of the next 5. I was like, dude, that
Trey Lance plays and loses 3 in a row, I think.
Dude, that's brutal. But there's 2 ways this goes. Niners can't turn the ball over, or you lose. Period. Point blank. If Jimmy throws,
play action. Debo is your guy.
It's just don't turn the ball over and get off the field on 3rd down. Niners win the game. That's the recipe.
If you can force,
that's it.
If you can force Green Bay into 3rd and longs, you're going to be all right.
That's it. That's how I see the game going. I'm not picking the Packers. Obviously.
The only other way it goes is the Packers go out and score 45.
Yeah, Packers got to stop the run and the same thing on the defensive side for the Packers. If you get San Francisco on 3rd and 14s,
you're going to win the game.
It's tough to overcome. I'm taking the Niners, obviously.
I hope they win too.
I'm taking the spread. I'll be safe. I'll take the Niners in the over. If I'm wrong, then my Super Bowl winner, the Packers, are still in it. So it's a win-win for that game.
Absolutely.
I think also this one is going to be an over. I think the teams are going to score a lot of points this weekend. And then the last game, Rams-Bucks. So you got Matt Stafford. He came out, won his first playoff game. He's 1-3. He didn't really have to do much.
No.
But when he did throw, mighty accurate.
On the money.
Every time.
Odell has got to be the happiest dude alive.
Odell was 1 for 1. We had a 40-yard pass
in NFL history.
Yeah. Dude, did you hear his quarterback stats? Coming into the game, he was like 4 for 6 for 113 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Well, did you see his cannon he's got?
That was a good throw.
On the money.
Yeah. I don't know about cannon.
Dude, he threw it 42 yards or 38 yards in the air on the money.
That was a lollipop.
Across the field.
That was a lollipop.
But it was across the entire field.
It's still a lollipop. I don't know how nobody picked it off. It was up in the air for 30 seconds.
Because he threw it across from with the one sideline to the other.
I'm just saying.
The ball traveled like 49 yards in the air.
It's all right. It was a good throw. But, yeah, OBJ, they got him involved. Kupp, took a back seat. That's smart by them.
Well, Kupp knew he was going to get doubled the whole game.
You can't leave OBJ.
That's the problem. And if you don't, Tyler Higbee's going to be running down the middle of the field free.
Yeah. I don't know. We talked about earlier, I think Tampa and the Rams, this game's weird because I don't know what.
Cooper Kupp took a back seat but had more catches and more yards.
I know. That's what's weird. But down the stretch. But both teams played the Eagles and Cardinals. Both teams were horrendous. I don't know how good. Like, we've seen them play earlier this year. The Rams beat Tampa. That's when Tampa was healthier.
Yeah.
Across the board. I don't know about their defense, but this game is going to be – this is the one game I'm going under on. I think it's going to be a slugfest. I think Stafford and Brady both might turn the ball over a few times. Like, I don't think Brady's just going to go out there and be like
4 touchdowns.
Pick them apart.
Ain't gonna happen.
I mean, it
could. It's Tom Brady.
It's crazy.
If it does, Tom Brady and the Bucs.
But you got Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. You got all these. Von Miller's been making splash plays the last couple weeks. I'm actually going. I think the Rams beat the Bucs this week. I think they win.
Man,
I think they win outright. I think the defense. I mean, it's going to be a defensive game. I think Brady has shown. Not really against the Rams. He did lose the Rams this year, but against the Saints.
But that's all irrelevant because he lost to the Saints twice. And goes into the playoffs and blows them out by 40.
I agree, but all these missing pieces like Fournette being out. I don't think Keyshawn Vaughn and Bernard had a monster. Really. What
happened to Ronald Jones?
He got hurt too.
He's out. He's not coming back.
I'm not sure. Hopefully he's back, but I don't think these running backs are just going to run into
Gio Bernard.
Gio Bernard's not having a fucking 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I feel like he was on the Bengals 12 years ago.
And obviously Ramsey's going to be on Mike Evans. We all know what happens when number one cornerbacks guard Mike Evans. Marshawn Lattimore shuts him down.
Oh, Jalen shuts him down.
And I think Jalen Ramsey is probably going to do the same. So he's going to have Scotty Miller. If Gronk's matched up on Weddle,
it's over for the freaking Rams. I'm sorry, bud.
They need to double Gronk, Jalen Ramsey on Evans, and then it's Cameron Brate and Tyler Johnson.
And Scotty Miller.
Stop saying Scotty Miller hasn't even been on the field.
Scotty Miller, baby.
Stop it. I don't know. I'm going Rams. I think the Rams get it done, and that's perfect because San Francisco and the Rams matchup, that's automatic W.
Yeah, you guys eat them alive.
6-0.
You want the Rams to win so bad.
Oh, I wanted to play them in the first round of the playoffs.
No, you want to play them in the title game, bud.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm going Rams. Niners win the game.
It'd be nice for you. You'd be Super Bowl bound, basically.
Yeah. You're going Bucks?
I can't bet it. I'm not picking against Tom Brady.
What about the total? You like the under? Or do you think Brady you're going the over all 4 games?
No, because the Rams are going to run the ball. They saw how good they ran it last week. They're going to run the ball.
I don't think they were going to be able to against that Tampa defense with all those guys. I think it's going to be wild. I could see the Bucs winning. I just think that whoever's defense creates more turnover because the
Bucs better just stop Aaron Donald. That's the key.
Then you got Von Miller.
I know he played well.
The defense is wild. If they can attack the middle, which the Rams give up a shit ton of yards over the middle,
it's a bad matchup for the Bucs because
both teams. It's bad. Like
pass rush against Tom Brady, that's not great for him.
We saw it week 4, 5, 6. The Rams went in and beat Tampa, and that's when they had all these other pieces.
Tom threw I think 1 touchdown and ran for 1.
He was the leading rusher in that game.
Yeah, that's the problem. You can't do that.
I think he had 14 yards.
That's why they lost.
I mean, they were down by a lot early, so.
They came back in the second half, right? It was like 21-0 at halftime or something?
Something like that. 17-7 or 21-7.
And they ended up putting in 31-24 or something.
Yeah. So so you're taking Bucks. I got Rams. So what's the differences? You're taking 10. You got Bengals and the Bucks. I got Rams and Titans.
Yeah.
Are you taking the Packers or Niners?
Niners. I think Niners get it done.
And then we're both on the Bills.
Jimmy G, we were talking
so
about
Niners,
Jimmy
Bills.
Guy, man.
Niners, Bills. Last week, me, you, Pete, were all on the Patriots, and it did not work out well.
God dang.
And I'm mad.
And you know what? You know what? It was the one thing. Like, if you would have asked me how do they lose, like, I would have never in my life thought that the Patriots wouldn't force a single punt.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick, like, he had to have lost his mind at halftime and after the game.
What's funny is I actually bet on the Bills on accident.
I
bet him early in the week, and then I gave out the Patriots, but then I looked at my ticket, and I'm like, I have the Bills. So I went 4 out of 5 on my ticket, and the only one I missed was the Raiders by a point. That's gross. I had the Bucks. And then I, for some reason, decided not to bet on Sunday.
Did you see our longtime listener across the street hit like a 5-teamer?
We did. Shout out
Shane Smith over there with a 5-teamer.
That's not his real name. Can't get off real names on the show.
That's not his real name. Smith's the most common name in the world, bro.
Tyler. True.
It's like the no-wins of the Asian scene.
Anyway, that's it, I think, for this week. We'll be back. So next week, we will be back. We're going to do an NFC championship week preview. We're going to take a week off after that, and we'll be back for Super Bowl. Tune in. Catch you next week.